Well, this is gonna be a fun video to make. Stay tuned. You won't be disappointed. So, I have a lot of computers that I love to death. I'm not trading for anything in the world. And I'm going to show them to you guys today in a very special, very long video. But first I gotta tell you, this video is going to be split into 4 sections. Section 1, all my Apple stuff. Doesn't matter what it is. Little mouse, keyboard, computer, obviously, whatever. It's going to be all going to be in here. Section 2, going to be all my laptops that I have. Section 3, going to be all the games that I have and little accessories or little extras that I found along the line. Section 4 is going to be my desktops. That's going to be a long section, so stay tuned for that one. But right now, I'm going to go into my garage and show you 3 computers that I've gotten recently, but they do not work. So I have to fix them and get them working, obviously. So let's go. Okay, so now I'm in my garage, and I'm going to show you guys 3 vintage Apple computers that I've recently gotten that are a work in progress, and in restoring them. So first up, we have a Macintosh Plus. Nothing happens when you plug in it and hit the power switch. Nothing at all. More than likely, it's a power supply issue. So that will get fixed. If I can't fix it, I already found a bunch of them on eBay for around $100. So not a very cheap fix, but it's a fix. It came with this classic Apple keyboard. Listen. Very clicky. I love clickiness. Love clickiness on that old Apple stuff like this. And it's the super old style that use this like weird phone line-ish connector to plug it from the keyboard to the computer. And I also ordered the mouse for it. Mac System 6.0.8 on 800K floppy disks. The 4.5 volt PRAM battery in the back to keep my clock, and I'm also going to retrobrite it, because as you can see, it's lighter over here than it is over here. Over here, it's a bit yellowed, so I will just end up retrobriting that. And then over here, I have 2 Macintosh PowerBooks, Macintosh PowerBook 145 and Macintosh PowerBook 170. Screens look different because one has a passive matrix display, one has an active matrix display. Not exactly sure which one has which, but I'm pretty sure the difference is that one of them just has like a backlight. I think. Not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. They both came with no charger, so I ordered that off of eBay. Both of them had corroded batteries. A slight bit of corrosion on that one. The battery compartments on both of these are slightly corroded, so I just got to clean that up. Hopefully the hard drives in here are still okay. The guy I got them from said that when he last put them away, they worked just fine. Only thing is, if they've been sitting for this long, they may not work, but hopefully they will. These guys will more than likely work once I get them all up and going. If not, I have some guy that I can get hard drives for. 2.5-inch SCSI drives, by the way. These are only super old SCSI interface. So I will end up getting these 3 all fixed. Now, let's go and take a look at my other Apple stuff that's actually in my collection right now. Back in my room, and I'm going to show you guys all the Apple computers that I have and the Apple products that I have. So let's begin before I start rambling. Okay, so first off, I have an older Macintosh SE. Let me zoom in on that logo. See? Macintosh SE. The model number on it shows that it's a Macintosh SE FDHD, but on the front it just says Macintosh SE. Maybe the back was replaced sometime in its lifetime, but the model number doesn't lie to me. Maybe it just wore off, not sure, but the model number shows that it's a SE FDHD. Quick specs on it are, a Motorola 68000 CPU, single core, 8 megahertz core clock, Mac OS 7.1. Can't find any information on the GPU. 4 megabytes of 30-pin SIM RAM, an 80 megabyte IBM drive. Funny story. When I got this off of eBay, the seller is really nice. He sold it as a no refund anything, but I got it, told him it didn't work. He investigated, and it turns out the people at the UPS store dropped it in the box. So this little thing was already packaged in the box, but the old SCSI drive died. So it took about a week, but it arrived, and I got myself the same size hard drive with same everything on there. I think even he installed a few extra bonus things, like I think it was Office for Windows, like way back in the day, and it's worked ever since. Has a 100-watt power supply, 9-inch monochrome screen. That basically just means that it is a black and white display with a resolution of 512 by 342. That's horrible at today's standards, but back then, that was pretty good. I mean, look at it. It's a cute little computer. I love it. And it was manufactured in 1990. And fun fact, this was the first Macintosh to have an included fan, like no vents on top. As you can see in the back, there's my fan vent. There's all like my ports down there, a couple ADB ports for keyboard and mouse, serial ports, audio ports, main power inlet. There's no like shutting this down. You hit shut down, it'll tell you that it's fine to shut off your Mac, and you have it on. You just flip that switch to turn it off, and it's completely fine. That's the way it worked back in the day. And it was also the first Macintosh to include a built-in hard drive by default. The Macintosh Plus that I showed you earlier didn't even have the option to have an internal floppy or internal hard drive. Excuse me. And next off, we have an old-ish Apple eMac. Look at this. Look at it. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that too much. But an interesting story behind the eMac is that it was originally released for the educational market only, but then Apple released it as a cheaper alternative to the iMac G4, which was a more expensive to manufacture LCD display, whereas CRT back in 2002, when this thing was made, was cheaper to make. There's the iMac G4 sitting right over there, which we will get to eventually. Was just more expensive to make. This one was much cheaper. Yes, it does weigh like 50 pounds. That's why I have all these sitting on cardboard, so it's not denting my dresser. And then it was for the education market. Then it was then, like I said, released to the public as a cheaper alternative to the G4, iMac G4, and it's just a overall really good computer. I love it. The fan is kind of loud though, but the speakers on something like this old, are amazing. Well, this is like a base model. The base model came with a 700 MHz processor, 128 megs of RAM, 40 gig hard drive. These came, I think, with up to a 160 gig hard drive, 1 gig of memory, and a 1.42 gigahertz PowerPC G4 processor. But quick specs on this: 17-inch CRT back in the day was not that bad. And this is when they had it on Mac OS, Mac OS X. On here it says Mac OS. I should say Mac System. I was kind of lazy to change it. You know, it wouldn't take that long. Don't judge me. And now we're skipping that one because that one's special. That one's going to show up at a later date. Hint right there. What is it? What is it? Okay, I'm done teasing you now. Now, this is a Macintosh, or no, this is where they didn't, where it wasn't Macintosh anymore. This is an Apple iMac G3 DV Special Edition from the summer of 2000. This was the maxed out configuration for summer of 2000. Only thing is, I had 4 of these. I sold 2 of them off. All 4 of them had blown speakers. Must have been something with like the material that they use for the speakers. But every single one of these I have had blown speakers. And a new set of speakers is like, I think I found like 40, 50 bucks, but they're all sold out everywhere. I'm sorry, I'm not paying that much. Even though it's something old, it can still play audio. It just sounds like it's not right. That's all I have to say about that. But quick specs on it is that this was back when it wasn't just like classic mode where they were still offering Mac OS X 10 point whatever and Mac OS 9.2.2 on the same drive to be there, and this one is actually dual boot. And it, with the summer of 2000 model, it had a PowerPC G3 750 processor, 500 megahertz, ATI Rage 120 Pro graphics, 128 megs of RAM, 30 gig hard drive, 15-inch 768 by 1024 CRT display, not flat screen, it's the rounded kind. But hey, the 768 by 1024 is actually still pretty good resolution for the time. The whole thing only consumed about 120 watts and is manufactured in 2000. Fun fact, this is the second revision of it. The first revision had a fan to help it. This one's all convection cooled because air will flow through the bottom holes right there, then up through the computer and out these vents, which is why these would overheat a lot and not be very reliable, like like in the long run you'd have blown caps in the power supply or tube and the CRT would go out. But not a very common problem, but still, it can happen, so yeah. And then over here, this is an interesting one. Better in some ways, worse in some ways. Better as in this one's actually in mint condition. This one's in pretty condition, but not mint condition. Here's the keyboard, the mouse for this one. Looks the cable on it. Let me get a. Where's one? Here's one for the G3 that these back in the day. And then the classic hockey puck mouse. But the cabling on this, they look so similar. See? It looks so similar. It's the same story on the keyboard as well. But the keyboard design is somewhat the same. So this one has an extra few buttons and stuff like that. But pretty much the interesting story about this E-Machines right here is that E-Machines was not jealous, but they saw how much of a success the iMac G3 was. So they were taking advantage of that, and they built a computer that was almost identical to the first revision of the iMac G3. Now, this caused for a lawsuit between Apple and E-Machines. E-Machines was forced to pull it from all store shelves about, I think it was like 6 months after it was initially released. It sold for a lower price. I think it was $7.99 instead of $12.99 or $11.99, excuse me, for a first revision iMac G3, which back then only came with a 333 megahertz processor. This one had a 433 megahertz Celeron processor. These came with PowerPC G3s. These just had a lot better core-to-core or core-to-clock performance than the Celerons. They just made it sound better by having it at a higher clock rate. Way smaller hard drive, considered for this one. But back in the day, this one I believe was, I think, still smaller than the other one, I believe. Can find no information on the size of the power supply. Just can't find that anywhere. And it came with Windows 98 instead of Mac OS 9.2. Manufactured 1999, same resolution screen and everything. But this one has a tray loading CD drive and floppy drive. This one just has a slot loading CD drive, but the original first gen had a tray loading. Power button, somewhat same location. Microphone right in the center. Microphone right in the center. Handle. They look so similar. And look at that. You can't really see that well, but it looks so similar. And you can see it's like transparent. It's just so similar. That's why they had a lawsuit. And I was so lucky to find this. It was like some giant old thrift store, just sitting right on the top of the shelf. They want to think it was $40 for it. I almost had a heart attack right there when they said $40, because the only one on eBay at the time of that I got this and checked. There's only one on eBay, and it is not in as good of condition. It has like a few scratches on the back for $400, and it comes with the keyboard, mouse, and like Windows 98. But this has the original Windows 98 install on it. So this one just it's amazing. I love it. I love this thing. And one last little thing, it has one of those things. It has a little media player, and the speakers are amazing for this little guy. And it's called the E1, in case you're wondering. E1 iMac. Even the name is similar. Okay, that's enough about the E1. Let's get over to some other stuff. Okay, so as you kind of saw, I have a couple Apple keyboards from the iMac G3 era. A Apple design keyboard, I believe it is. Yep, Apple design keyboard with the ADB plug. Looks kind of like PS2, right? It's not. It has a few differences in the pins. This one I use for one of my old Apple computers. This one's an Apple keyboard too. It's a bit more yellowed, but the whole thing's yellowed. Same connector, but here's the difference. They're different models. But for real. This one came with the SE. This one did not come with another one, but I needed one at the time for a different Apple computer. So I flew up the money, just ordered it. So there we go. Then my mice, I have an Apple desktop bus mouse with a single button. Button still sounds healthy too. This one came with the SE. This one I had to order for that other one too, and this is the Apple desktop bus mouse 2. This is actually the second revision of it. Looks a bit better. And this just came with this one over here, which I'll talk about in a second. It's just Apple Ethernet twisted pair transceiver. This came with this for free, so why not? I just took it. Then the mice, I have the old classic hockey puck mouse. Very weird to use, but it came with one of those with a really cool computer over there. They'll see later. And then I just have this classic Apple mouse with the wire all free. This is like a backup for my main iMac over there. This is a backup. Then I have a G4 Mac Mini over here with the 1.42 gigahertz G4 8-tier Radeon 9200 80 gig hard drive and external power supply, slot loading disk drive. I actually did a little tiny stress test of this. I have like a special command, and then I put into terminal with this, and it basically just maxes out like the CPU. But if you say you have a second core like this one, you only have to put it in once. You have a quad core, so you gotta open up 4 terminal windows and have it in all 4. Okay, I'll stop with that zooming. But this thing actually turns into a small jet engine when it's at maximum load. And then this thing over here, I'll zoom back out. This thing right here is I believe it's a 15-inch Apple Studio display with, if I can get the plug on over here, with that kind of Super Bowl plug that was on like the iMac or Power Mac G4s and G5s, some of the G5s. And it works great. I got it on Craigslist for like, I think, $40. Then I have some of my old Apple devices. Here's like an empty EarPods case right here that came with my iPhone 6. And then here's like a little iPod Nano. It's custom engraved, but hey, it's an iPod Nano. And it should work. Unless my battery died. Battery probably died. And then right here, mint condition iPhone 2G. Paid $150 for this. You go on eBay for like almost $800. And right here is not so mint condition iPhone 3GS. Cracked screen, bit scuffed in the back, but hey, it's a 3GS. They feel amazing in your hand, and they're just a really great phone. And right here I have an iPod Touch 2nd generation. Does it work? Yay! It works. Enter the passcode. Only thing is, the lock button doesn't work and volume buttons don't work. Solution, auto lock. I have it on auto lock for a minute. The reason why this one's special to me is because my first Apple product, matter of fact, first electronic device, was an iPod Touch 2nd generation, 8 GB. And that's exactly what this one is. So, it runs... I don't have all the apps because obviously I can't find them anymore. I had like Angry Birds and stuff, but I don't want to download that like a version that old. Plus, I don't even think it'll let me at this point do that. And right here was the first 2G that I got for $10. Really scuffed up. The bottom's all cracked. Screen's all messed up. But hey, I got it for $10. Still can't really beat that. And then what I'm actually filming on right now is my brand new 64 GB iPhone X. 10X, say it however you want, I say it X. The only thing is I did end up opening up these new lightning connector earpods. I couldn't get them in properly, so now there's like sticking out of the package. But hey, I got them somewhat back in the box. And then this other box was the old thing that I used to film with. It's my iPhone 6. I'm not taking that right now because I can't get it out with one hand. I'm not trying to put down my camera and get it out. But that's what I used to film with. And if you think the quality is better, it's because it's a better camera. 8 megapixels versus 12 megapixels. Single camera, dual cameras, yay. And back to old stuff. Back to old stuff. This one right here that I was talking about earlier. Apple Macintosh Quadro 650. macOS 7.5.1. Motorola 68040. Same-core 33 megahertz processor. 136 megabytes of SIM RAM, 72 pin, so a bit faster. I just can't find the speed on them. 250 megabyte quantum drive. I don't think that's correct, but hey, it might be. Power supply is very specific on the inside. 112.2 watts. Don't try and put 113 to this, you'll overload it. Manufactured in 1994. Now this is an old one, but I like it. It might not be something too memorable, but hey, it's one of those things that Steve Jobs wasn't there when they made it, so it's one of those little beige things that Apple just made, and hey, it still works. And then when I got that, it also came with a Apple Color High Resolution RGB monitor. Came with the original packaging. That's that giant box over there. Box has all the packing materials that you could want in there and everything. Came with the original manual and everything. Monitor slightly yellowed, not very clean. Yes, I did try and clean that. That stuff's staying on. It's a nice little 15-inch CRT monitor though, and it fits perfectly like it was made for on top of this Quadro. And then over here, another little product that Steve Jobs killed when he got back from Apple, called the eMate 300. He hated it because it had a stylus. Got it for, I think, $50. Now, of course, something this old, it's literally mint condition. It looks like that it's like almost never been used except by me for like a few minutes. It was from my fellow collector. Excuse me. I'm trying to just open it up for you. But look at this thing. Little tiny thing. Oh, okay. Here's my little stylus. It has like one of those like green screen things from like back in the day. Really interesting. Ooh. No. Okay, we're good. Okay. It came in like this really cool plastic. It has everything that I need to. Under here, it has my original 9-watt power adapter and all the original paperwork and specs. I don't have a label on this one for obvious reasons. I don't really want it to be messed up. I mean, the ones that I do have a label on, I care about, but I know that it's somewhat easy to get. Something with taking the label off and some like Windex. With something like this, it'd be a bit tougher. I'm just trying to find the specs on this thing. There we go. It has a 25 megahertz. Come on, focus. ARM 710 RISC processor, 3 megabytes of RAM. I'm just gonna let you guys read this. I don't want to read all that. Pause to view it, I guess. And that's all the stuff right there. That's what came in the box. Pretty much what's there. Size and weight, weighs about 4 pounds, and yeah, this is an original eMate 400 or eMate 300. Excuse me. Battery does not hold a charge at all. Box has a few smudges here and there, but now I'm gonna carefully go over here to the other side of my bed. Don't mind all that. I had to move all this to make room in my bed to put all this stuff here. That's a cat tunnel. I need to put these 2 Macs there for that. So here is a 2008 Apple MacBook, model A1181. It has a Core 2 Duo T8300, dual core at 2.4 gigahertz, integrated graphics, 2 gigs of RAM with 60 gig hard drive, 13-inch screen, manufactured in 2007. I like these magnetic screens, but they're tough to open with one finger. But they open easily once I have them open with one finger. Now the battery is dead. I know that for a fact. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's dead. But this one's actually so viable. Like, I can go online with it. I just choose really not to because it is running an older version of macOS 10.5. That's not supported anymore. And this is a original early 2006 MacBook Pro. This was a cool find because, one, if you go into like more info, like find all about it, this is MacBook Pro revision 1-1. First revision ever of the MacBook Pro. And it came with a dual-core CPU at 2.2 gigahertz, Radeon X1600, 1 gig of RAM, with 60 gig hard drive. It's actually aftermarket. 60 watt-hour battery, 15 screen, manufactured in 2006. Ooh, yeah, it does that for some reason. And look at it. It actually looks pretty new. And look at the bezels. They're actually they're really small for actually the age of this thing. One thing is, I got a new battery for it. I must have put it in sleep mode like instead of like turning it off. And the battery holds like no charge. I even left it plugged in for a whole night. 12 hours. Nothing. And for some reason, I still haven't gotten around to getting a new battery for it. For some reason, don't ask me why, I just haven't. Now over here to my desk. This right here is my editing machine. 2007 20-inch iMac, and it does great. It edits video 1080p 30 FPS. That's why my videos are right there. My latest video on my channel, the one uploaded before this one, was in 1080p 60 FPS, and this thing was struggling to do that. I mean, it could do it. It was just like choppy. So this one's recorded in 1080p 30 FPS. But spec-wise, it has Mac OS X 10.11.8. If it would focus. Come on. Come on, iPhone X. You want to focus. You want to focus. Fine, I'll just tell you what it has. It has a Core 2 Duo T7700 dual core 2.4 gigahertz, H8 Radeon HD 2600 graphics, which actually is really, it's only 256 megabyte graphics card, yet it can edit video like a champ. 4 gigs of RAM, that also is really good for editing. 160 gig hard drive. I don't keep my videos on here. I take the videos, I put them from my phone onto here, put them into iMovie, export them, and then I take it, put it onto external hard drive that I have in there, and then I take it from the external hard drive and put it on here. This is where all my videos stay, since like the one that I built my dad a computer. That's the only one on here. And it was manufactured in 2007, and it still does great for video editing. I love this thing. I don't know, it's 10 years old. Almost 11, and it's still kicking. It's amazing. I love it. I got it for $10. It just needed a hard drive. It works like a champ. I love it. I use it almost all. I use it every other day to do homework. Now if I need like printing or Office, I use that. That doesn't have Office. This says iMovie for editing purposes. And now back to vintage stuff again. Here's an iMac G4. 17-inch, I believe. Yeah, 17-inch. I think I got this for $40. And specs on this guy are, it's another like base model-ish. It has the 800 megahertz processor. What's up with my camera? There we go. It has GeForce MX2, 512 megs of RAM. Basically, it's your standard run-off-the-mill G4 iMac, but this one's cool just because of this. It's like the hinge that holds up the screen. Very, very unique. And this, I like the way that this thing pops out. Just like in like the old commercial that Apple had. It's really cool. Like the guy like sticking his tongue and a little dish right pops out. I love that. Okay, I'll come back to those. Don't worry. Get on the floor. Oof. Now here is my 20-inch iMac G5. Focus again. What is up with this camera? It has a single core G5 at 2 gigahertz, 1 gig of RAM, 250 gig hard drive, 20-inch screen obviously, and I actually run a pretty cool game on this. It's Shrek. I think it's like Shrek 2 or something like that. And it's made only like for iMac or like Apple stuff, so it runs perfectly. The only thing is the fans run really high when doing it because the CPU gets up to like 71C when playing it, but it's a smooth experience on max settings actually. For a game, you can actually run Shrek 2 on a 20-inch G5 iMac G5 with a 2 gigahertz processor and 9600 ATI Radeon graphics, 1 gig of RAM on high settings, no problem. And then over here, this one's kind of cool because it's the first Intel-based iMac. It has... I don't like this camera. I like my iPhone 6 camera better, actually. It's staying in focus a lot better. There we go. This is the Core Duo iMac, 17-inch one. And it basically, first Intel-based iMac, same white shell with like the little clear polycarbonate like around it. It's basic iMac, dual core at 1.83 gigahertz, ATI Radeon X1600, 1 gig of RAM. And it's just really interesting. Yeah. And now over here is a Apple Power Mac G3 Bondi Blue. This one I had to drive long and far for, but it was so worth it. Runs Mac OS 9.2.2, a G3 processor, 350 megahertz, ATI Rage 128 GL graphics, 20 gig hard drive, 200 watt power supply, 128 megs of RAM, and this is like in immaculate condition. I love it. And then this one right here, I don't know why I put the label on sideways, but this is the maxed out configuration for a G4 Quicksilver, a Power Mac G4 Quicksilver. Once again, dual boot, Mac OS 9.2.2 and Mac OS X 10.2.8. It has two 1 gigahertz processors, GeForce 4 or GeForce MX4 graphics, 12 megs of RAM, and two 120 gig hard drives. That was actually upgraded from a single 80 gig when it was ordered or made back in 2002. And this one, sadly, is like my worst conditioned Mac or Apple product in general, because look at it. Someone popped the rivets somehow off of here, but hey, I got it for 40 bucks. Can't really beat that for a G5 in my opinion. But someone I think uses as like a ladder or step stool, and they bent it and it's scratched everywhere. I'm looking for a new one, not water cooled, because you know they leaked and it's just all yuck on this thing, so not very good. But it has dual 1.8 gigahertz CPUs, FX 5200 graphics, 1 gig of RAM, 600 watt power supply, and manufactured in 2003. If I don't sound that enthusiastic, it's just because I feel bad for this G5. I feel bad for it. It's not in very good condition. There's not really much that I can do to fix this, unless I take it back to Apple and they still have their old like G5 Sandblaster unit and fix it for me. But they don't. I know that for a fact. I'm not even gonna try. So let me get up here. Get my light aimed up so it's staring you guys right in the face. And let me turn my camera around. Well, that's it for section 1 of this video of all my Apple stuff. Now it's getting late. I believe it's around 9-ish o'clock. And I gotta start heading to bed. I need my sleep. So I'll pick this up back in the morning for you guys. Okay, so now I'm back, day 2 of filming. My hair looks different because I did my hair different today. But now I'm going to show you my laptops. So, show you my laptops. So, first up I have a Dell Latitude 120L with Windows XP, basic Celeron processor, 40 gig hard drive, and nothing really that special, but I basically have all these laptops just because people just like gave them to me, so that's good. These all work, by the way, but look, this thing looks like it's 12 years old. Celeron M. But this one is the only one that does not have a battery in it. I keep forgetting to get the battery for it. And next we have an Inspiron 8200 with Windows XP again, and a Pentium 4M. I don't see many of those. An 80 gig hard drive. This one has like that, you push and it opens. Pretty cool looking interior actually. That is actually not a speaker, that's actually an air vent. I'll show you like its cooling system in a second. That's it. 2 little tiny fans. You can see like the heatsink in there. It's pretty much just like these 2 fans pull out air, and it's a passive heatsink, but then these have fans that take it away. I was doing like an IDA664 test. The fans stay off until you hit like 73 degrees Celsius. Which is kind of insane if you ask me. Next we have an Inspiron 8000 instead of the 8200. This one runs Windows 2000 and a Pentium 3 mobile processor. Only 20 gig hard drive too. Come on. There we go. It says it's compatible with all 3. Windows 2000, Windows NT, and 98. This one has the same kind of cooling system on, like the two like little fans. I'm not sure, but it's one of these 2, only one of the fans works. But hey, it still works. Then here's a Dell Latitude D620. This one actually has a Core Duo, not the Core 2 Duo, Core Duo. I mean, it can only do 32-bit Windows and applications. But there's my little tiny vent. When I got this, it was I think like $5 for it, and it had the fan. I've never made it come on. I noticed it was getting like super warm. Like, maybe the fan's not good. I opened it up. The person that refurbished it never even plugged the fan for it back in. So after that, I was like, maybe it's fixed now. Nope. It just still got really hot. Then I started to just run an IDA64 test, and the fan turned on at 75 degrees Celsius. So of course, Dell back then was kind of the Apple of computers, as in letting their stuff get to a really, really high temperature before letting the fans kind of even come on. And next we have an Inspiron 5150. I like this design. And look at it, it's kind of cool. Another Pentium 4 HT mobile, but this one's actually pretty high gigahertz, 3.06, 70 watt TDP in this little thing. The battery still holds a charge of it actually too in this one, but it looks almost new like on the inside. Big old buttons. Does it have a charge? It does have a charge. Fan's insanely loud on this one though. Listen. Bit of an unscheduled laptop turner on. Oh, the battery's almost dead. I gotta turn it off. But it works. Yeah, shut down. It's really loud, and that's minimum fan speed. It's pretty much like where it stays too. There we go, it's off. I don't think any other of these have battery power, except for maybe that ThinkPad over there. But now we have a Presario 2500. This thing looks like that it had like a really good, like it's a really good computer because it has like 2 heat sinks, but no. Basic-ish graphics and a Pentium 4 single core 2.4 gigahertz. This was actually brand new. This I got brand new. I mean, look at it, it looks new. Literally, once again, new. Mobile, maximum power, mobile innovation. So I was like the T-Mobile hotspot bloatware thingy on there. Model number. It's a compact Presario 2500. This one does not have battery power, I think. Yep, it's dead. Even though it's new, the battery was kept dead for so long, it just never really turned on. But look, a little tiny fan right there to help it along. And then 2 giant heatsink vents as well. I've really only ever had the first fan come on, but when I was running IDA64, I do that to all my laptops just to see how loud they can get. But I only run it once. It's not like these guys are always like running maximum everything when I have them on. And I was only able to get the 3rd little tiny vent fan in the back to come on when I was blocking both heat sinks, like both giant vents. But yeah, so 3rd one's kind of unnecessary, but they all work, so pretty good one too. Just battery doesn't hold a charge. And this is an old one. It runs Windows ME. 4 gig hard drive. It's only 800 by 600 screen, and it's not really like in the best condition. One of the latches fell off, and this is the only one that's on there. But other than that, it's in very good condition. Battery's dead as well, but it looks really good on like the inside. Looks actually kind of good for a computer that's laptop that's almost 18 years old. That's the only vent in there. It's a little tiny fan, and then off to the side you can see the little tiny heatsink and capacitor in there. But I basically just got that one because it runs ME, and this one because it runs 2000. And this one, nothing really too special. I was gonna buy and just sell it as a basic Windows XP laptop, but it turns out that like there's something wrong with like the screen, and I can't figure it out. Probably a new screen would fix it, but I'm not putting that much money in some of this, so I just decided to keep it. It looks pretty good, but it has a mobile Sempron processor, and those are not very good. They are single cores that I've never seen one higher than 1.6 gigahertz because the only one I have. And this one has kind of an interesting story. This one did work with a fan, but one day I decided to take it apart and dust it out, and my finger slipped when I was holding the fan steady when I was using my compressed air to dust it, and the fan just like exploded. So like, let's see how it works with no cooling fan on it. And actually, I did a 64 test. It never topped like 94 degrees Celsius. But yeah, that's really hot, but it did end up throttling a lot, but then it would get down like 92 degrees Celsius and right back up to 94. But hey, it lived. Just gets way too hot for comfort. And this one actually runs Windows 7, and this one runs Windows 7, but it's a ThinkPad, so I kept it. No brainer. I like ThinkPads. Especially these like little ones. These little ones are kind of cool. I think this one might still have battery. Yep. Quick specs while it's turning on. 250 gig hard drive, 2 gigs over RAM, DDR3 actually. An AMD Athlon Neo single core at 1.6 gigahertz, and then 11 inch screen. Even though it's only a 15 watt TDP CPU, this thing gets really hot. And back to this one, just like sealed unit kind of. Same kind of with this one. Big old battery, one big old plate on the bottom. But I can already feel it getting a bit warm on the bottom. Just zoom in a little bit. Probably gonna end up like configuring Windows. No. Huh. Actually not, these actually aren't that bad. Let me enter my password. There. Okay, zoom back up. There we go. Hey, I like this automatic 2x zoom on iPhone X. It's really good, and stupid color changing. See, go down there, it's really bright. Go up here, it's really dark. Why? We'll do it again. Yeah, it's doing it again. Yeah. Come back to you. Go on my other side of my bed. 4 more, and we're on to my game consoles and other stuff. This one was my first personal laptop. Like 3 years after I got it, the hard drive failed, and the guy that did it upgraded the RAM from 2 gigs to 4 gigs for free, or for at no extra cost, which was pretty cool. And then started taking it to school because I got that laptop over there. My dad said, sure, you can take it to school, so I did. And it turned out being kind of good for school. Yeah, it was a tiny bit slow, but it was pretty good for school. Only thing is one of the hinges broke, and now the second hinge broke. So you let go, I mean it'll stay kind of, but you let go, it's just gonna stop. It looks really good on the inside. I well kept this thing. Only thing, it does not have a 500 gig hard drive. I think I put it down to like a 160 or even a 30. I think this one sells battery for me to tell you guys. Yep. I gotta hold the screen though on this thing. But let me go to F2, utility setup. There we go. Yeah, it's only a 60 gig hard drive. I can tell. It's just a 60 gig hard drive. It's not really that big of a hard drive. Here we go. It's off. But that's all I needed. There's no need to keep a 500 gig drive in here. And I run a small computer business, so I can use that in some other laptop. Cool. ThinkPad's up. Ooh, there we go. Yes, I have a Vast on here. Never used it, but why? Why should I not have a Vast on here? Runs great, but after only having it on for that short amount of time, the vent's pretty warm. These things were never really good with their own thermal management systems. And then next, this is the first laptop that I added to my collection. It's the Gateway M460. That's why this one's kind of special. It has, once again, a Celeron single core at 1.3 gigahertz. But I think this one actually still has a charge as well. This one just amazes me. I love it. Nope. It's dead. But it's a really good laptop. I mean, it's so easy to go into. I love it. And the bottom of this Toshiba, pretty simple. That should be like a fan vent, but no. It's all blocked off for some reason. I don't know why. Then over here's another Toshiba satellite. There we go. No, I don't know what I did, but it's back to normal. Kind of. And there we go. It has, once again, it's like a Celeron processor and a 40 gig hard drive. Pretty standard for back in the day. But yeah, battery's dead in this one too. But both speakers are blown, so sadly this is only one of the Windows XP machines that I cannot have sound out of. Once again, pretty basic on the bottom. Except for that, you actually have an open fan vent on this one. Mesh, which I like. Then last but not least is another Gateway in horrible condition, but hey, as close to ThinkPad. It's... Oh, well. It just broke. It just broke the rest of the way. That sucks. Whatever. It had a good run. It's an old Gateway Solo. 2000 Solo 2100. I mean, this hinges were shot when I got it. It was missing a couple keys on the keyboard. Screen's all cracked. But what happened here? You just officially decided to go by it? I guess so. And the saw is like messed up on the bottom. Like, on the back, like little doors missing and everything. But my hinges finally went on this guy. Yeah, I don't think I was filming that. Doors all messed up and stuff. But he had a good run. Might still work. Doubtful of that though, because it has no battery charge. But might be one I just have to throw back on out. Sad day for me. Might have to throw out a laptop. Ooh, what am I dragging? Oh, piece of plastic. But yeah, that just happened. Poor Gateway 2000. It's the only Gateway 2000 I have. It doesn't really have like good specs, but hey, it's a Windows XP laptop. Whatever. Things come and go. I accept that. I'm probably not going to end up to fix this guy. I know that much. With hinges that far gone, nah, not happening. So, well, more than likely, it's going to get tossed on out. Sadly. But, yeah. That's it for the part 2 of my laptops, and I'll see you guys in part 3. Okay, so part 3 now. Video games, video game consoles, and little extras that I have. Let's begin. Over here, just my main Xbox One S, connected up to my TV. Love this thing. Hi. And then we're gonna go over all the console games, or games that I have first. I have The Sims 2 on PC. Get that light out of here that much. Shrek 2, as I was saying in part 1 for that G5 iMac. Atari 80 games in one for Windows 98 and 95, I think, and Monopoly 3 for Windows 98. And then I have Brothers in Arms, 4 discs set for XP in 2000, Quake 4, Crisis Warheads. This does not work. The game key was already used, but I'll keep it because why not? Okay, that's better. Then I have Cars 2 for the only game that I had when I had my DS. Well, I had like 20. But for some reason, I kept that one, and that's the only one that I have for right now for it. And this blank one right here is just Virtua Tennis for the Sega Dreamcast that I have. I got the Dreamcast, and it did not come with the game in like the case, so I just took a blank CD case, just wrote on it Sega Dreamcast Virtua Tennis. It's not that bad of a game actually. Yay. And then I have for PlayStation 1, Road Rash, Atari Anniversary Edition, Tomb Raider, and Gran Turismo 2. And for PlayStation 2, I have Grand Theft Auto Double Pack, Liberty City Stories, and Vice City Stories, GTA San Andreas, and GTA 3. San Andreas is my favorite. I play it more on my phone actually than the console. Then for some reason I forgot that I had the second one, so I have 2 copies of ATV Off-Road Fury 2, 1 of ATV Off-Road Fury 3, NASCAR Thunder 2002, Pro Race Driver, Tom Clancy Splinter Cell, History Channel Civil War, Alfa Romeo Racing Italiano, SOCOM, U.S. Navy SEALs Mercenaries, The Sims, MVP NCAA Baseball 06, Madden 04, and for PS3, Fallout New Vegas, Shadow Mordor, Heavy Rain, Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, and GTA 5. Let me get over on this side. And for get on my way, light. Should have done this before. Poor planning. Ha. And then for Xbox Classic, I have Pinball, MLB Slugfest 03, NASCAR 07, Namco Museum, Call of Duty. What is that? Call of Duty Finest Hour, Hitman 2, Splashdown, and Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. It's actually a very cool but weird game. And last, I have Medal of Honor Frontline. Xbox 360, I have MLB 2K13, Portal 2, Halo Reach, and back it up a little for you guys, Battlefield, Bad Company 2 Ultimate Edition, Kinect Adventures, Call of Duty, Ghosts, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and Gears of War 2. For my Xbox One, I have The Crew, Wild Run Edition, Dirt 4, Doom, Fallout 4, Just Cause 3, and Forza Horizon 3. And over here is a little cool thing. When I went to go get my Apple Watch, I kept the bag because why not? It's an Apple bag. It's a really cool bag. Then, unrelated, I just have up here that triple decker bus that I made out of Lego like 5 years ago. I'm not tearing it down though. It took like all day for me to build. And then this is where the Macintosh SE lives, is right here. It's really tough to get out. Then Microsoft Office 2013 Specialist, Word 2013 Specialist, and OneNote 2013 Specialist. So that was all my 9th grade high school year. About a year ago. I'm in 10th grade now. Huh? Light, off, light, there. Oh, my video's getting demonetized. Huh? Joke's on you, YouTube. I don't even monetize my videos. Ooh, now let's get to this stuff right here. First over here, I just have a Brother SX 4000 electric typewriter. It actually has like its own like little thing to type, which is actually kind of cool. And then when I got one of my iMac SEs, or iMac G3, excuse me, it came with Apple Hardware Test, iMovie 2, iMac Applications, iMac Software Restore. Computer, shush, I'm filming a video. Thank you. Apple Care, and iMac Software Install. Only thing is that it is, I believe that means it's Mac OS 9.1. And I don't really use Mac OS 9.1 or for the software restore, but I did test the discs, they work. I doubt that I'll ever use like iMovie 2, because I use iMovie that's included on Mac OS 10.11 on that beauty right there. And then I have a cassette player for a Commodore VIC-20. A Commodore VIC-20 that works. And I have a joystick for it, I just didn't take it out. Of course, someone just has to call my mom right now. Now that distraction's over, let's get back to the video. For my Commodore VIC-20, I have Molotac, Cosmic Cruncher, Home Babysitter, Gorf. I thought it was gonna be a golf game, but it's not. And Home Babysitter, basically, this thing can only make like 8-bit sounds, like meh, 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 and like beeps. That's basically what this is. It sings the alphabet in like 8-bit tones. Omega Race, Raid on Fort Knox, Avenger, and Radar Rat Race. Radar Rat Race is actually a really cool one. I like Radar Rat Race. Put these back real quick. Then I already showed you guys my VIC-20 kind of. It's a bit beat up right there, but it works. I got this like 30 bucks, I think. It all works. Just little tiny thing right there. And this is actually its original color. It's not yellow at all. But I thought it was, so I had it all apart, and the little sticker on the bottom, so it keeps falling off now because I had to end up taking that off. Yes, I did put more tape under it. Probably should have used glue, but whatever. I'm lazy. And then I have a boxed copy of Windows 98 2nd Edition that I got at Goodwill for $5. Everything's in here, too. Everything. See if I can get it open for you guys. Yes, I can. Oh, yeah. One hand, I can get it open, but I can't get it out of the box one-handed. Now, can I open it up? The rest of the way with one hand. Oh yeah, one of these. One of those. There we go. So yeah, everything's in there. Not gonna open it any further. I don't want to have any more struggles getting it out. I have to put this down for a second. No, yeah, to get back in the box. Okay. That was simple and easy. And then I have a iMac 2nd Edition manual. A bit beat up, but it has literally everything you can do on an iMac. And it's printed by Osborne. Not sure if it's the same Osborne that made the Osborne 1 computer, but kind of cool if it did. And then here's a Quantum ProDrive ELS 80 meg SCSI drive that got taken out of that Mac SE right there when I got it off of eBay. It arrived with a dead hard drive. Seller said it was fine, but I explained this earlier. They dropped it in the UPS store, and he sent me a new one. It's an IBM, not a Quantum. But I'm fine with that, and it's an Apple branded drive. See, Apple 80, haha. And then over here, this one might not make sense, but it's a Tri-Gems Spin Point 40 gig IDE hard drive. Reason why I have this one is because Tri-Gem and KDS, companies overseas in Korea, formed to make e-machine computers. I don't know what it is. I love my e-machine computers. Side note, I have all these like up here. I have like computer logos. See if I can zoom in for you guys. I have Packard Bell logos, Compaq logos, Acer logos, Asus logos, e-machine logos, Toshiba, Tri-Gem, Lenovo, Razer, Microsoft. Then over here I have basically the first Apple logo, a couple Apple logos, and Steve Jobs poster, Intel, AMD, Gateway, Soltec, HP, and Dell, which I like to have all that kind of cool stuff. Now let's go over here to my gaming consoles. I have the Xbox Classic, which I have removed the time cap from, which basically the time cap was a capacitor inside there that would basically leak. It was like a very horrible quality capacitor that Microsoft used to keep time instead of a regular lithium battery, and it just leaked. So I took it apart and found out that my revision was fine to do that, and I didn't just I just like wiggled the capacitor back and forth vigorously, which that's also fine, and it just popped out. Had a bit of corrosion on the board, so I used some vinegar to clean that up, and it cleaned it up just fine. Then I have over here a PlayStation 1, a PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 Slim, that's also a PS2 Fat, and then a Xbox 360 S, I believe it is, with Kinect. And now, oh yeah, one last one. Sega Dreamcast. How could I forget? It's such a cool console. Computer, I asked you once, be quiet. Now I'm telling you, be quiet. The heck is that floating on the screen? Yeah, see that? It's like floating like right there. Right there. Huh. Cameras are weird. Well, I have some graphics cards. I have a NVIDIA GeForce 8800 GTS, GT210, a MSI GeForce 6300, and a Quadro, what is this? Quadro 4000. Single slot design. It works, it's just, it makes the computer blue screen. That works. That works. This one works, just the fans got on it. Still have that, like, blue dots. Yeah, I don't know what that is. And then I have like wind cleaner, like those like stupid virus protections on USB flash drive, which I don't like. I bought it just to see what it would do. Then I just have a VHS tape, Dell Axiom, kind of cool, and a box Pentium 4 processor with the processor and the cooler in it. See, still its original factory packaging. And then over here, I have a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive holder with no floppies in it yet. A bunch of floppy drives with those back there are Windows 3.1 and MS-DOS 5.0 installs. Some nice transparent floppy drives. Boxed floppy drives. More floppy drives. ATI Vision Tech. Nokia phone. It's not the 3310. It's a bit older version or newer version. And over here we have a Palm Pilot, which is kind of cool. It's basically like the original version of the Dell Axiom. Then I have a DSi XL. I sold my old one at GameStop because I was stupid back then for $50, and that was all my games and stuff. Games and I didn't know back then. I got that for like $30. And here's my collection of processors. That's an AMD Duron, AMD Athlon 64, IBM 6X86L, Intel Pentium 100 megahertz processor, and an HP processor that I can't find any info on. Intel 486DX4 75 megahertz chip, Intel Celeron processor, Athlon 64, Pentium 4 non-LGA, and Pentium 4 LGA socket. Then last things I have are a Bestech ATX 25012E. I have something weird for Bestech. I like their power supplies. People think that all Bestechs are bad. No, it's only the 250-12E they need to watch out for, because it uses a faulty two transistor design. It makes your 5-volt standby rail jump up to 12 volts sometimes, just fry your motherboard. And if you have a Bestech 250-12Z, 312E, 312Z, or any other Bestech besides the 250-12E, you're fine. Do not worry. And here I have a 250-12Z just because. Then in my desktops I have a 312E in an E-Machines and a 312Z and an HP, I believe. And then I just have an Ultra LSP 550 watt power supply. It's dead. I have Ultra power supplies here just because they're in an interesting company. Not very good quality power supplies, but they had lifetime warranties, and I broke the warranty seal because I had this right after they went out of business. So yeah, whatever. Screw it. But yeah, that's all my stuff. Oh yeah, and in section 2, when I said that laptop broke, I can't fix that. Sadly, I'm gonna have to say bye to one of my computers. Can't fix it. Oh well. Oh yeah, and over there I just have a makey set. I got it Goodwill for like $5 once again. And that's gonna be it for part 3 of the video. I'll see you guys in part 4 with my desktops. Okay, so the 4th and final part of this video is now underway. My desktops, let's begin. First is a very interesting one. It's called a Cubic, made by Soltech. Soltech basically went out of business because all their motherboards that they made had faulty electrolytic capacitors, as in they would all blow just outside of the warranty period. And I'm going to lift it right out of the case right now. There we go. Yes, this is a desktop that has its own carrying case. Put it right here. As you can see, Looks pretty. It is missing a few doors in the front and in the back. It looks kind of cool. This is actually like a it just came like with the chassis, obviously, and the motherboard. You would have to add everything else, so you'll never find something else exactly like this again. Person that had it before me spec'd it out with a Pentium 4 HT530, ATI Rage, 128 Pro graphics, 1 gig of RAM, 120 gig max storage hard drive, and 250 watt power supply from Enhance. So it's a very good. Sorry, I'm itching my arm. Itch. It's a very good computer. It does get kind of loud though because it's so small. You need to stuff a giant Pentium 4 in there. Little tiny power supply vent. This is actually like your vent. It's a normal like style fan, but like it sucks air in and just blows it out like that, like a little vent, which is actually pretty cool. And it's a quieter solution than a blower style fan. Anything's quieter than a blower style fan, honestly. And then over here, I have my Dell Precisions. I have a 490 and a T3400. The 490 is basically kind of like a server. It has two Intel Xeon 5130s. Both have 2 cores at 2 gigahertz. And it has a NVIDIA Quadro FX 3500. That's better. Use my hand to block it. 4 gigs of DDR2 ECC memory. That means error correcting. And that's for servers because you can't have an error in a server. Something bad happens, you're messed up. 250 gig hard drive, 750 watt power supply. And it runs Windows XP. Professional 32-bit. And then the other Precision has it runs Vista. Yes, it runs Vista. It has a Core 2 Duo E8500 dual core at 3.16 gigahertz, NVIDIA Quadro FX 570 graphics, 2 gigs of RAM, 250 gig hard drive, 525 watt power supply, and a manufactured in 2008. Now, my dad, he has a Dell Precision 20 T3400, but his has the Core 2 Quad Key 6700 instead of the Core 2 Duo E8500, so it's a lot better than this one right here, and he got it for free. Just had to, and it came like with a 15,000 RPM hard drive, which is pretty good, but really loud, but he doesn't care, because he grew up in the ages of IDE hard drives, and like the really loud motor and clicking, so, yeah. So an SSD would beat that thing out any day. Then over here, I have a few more. Here's will this help today, right now? Nah, not really. This is just a older style compact Presario. It's a 5310 US. It just has a zoom. It just has a Pentium 4 single core 1.5 gigahertz with an NVIDIA Vanta graphics. Entry level at the time, entry level now. Or that made no sense. Entry level then, completely crap now. 512 megs of RAM, 250 watt power, manufactured in 2001. This is an oldie, but I just like the style of this. Then over here we have a HP Compact 6005 Pro. This has a tri-core AMD processor. This one would have been sold, yes. That's my company. That's blocked out. That was my phone number there. So, but basically, if you live in Florida, Palm Beach County, namely, hopefully, and you would like a computer, or Broward County, or Miami-Dade County, Tampa, whatever, need a computer fixed, or want one to be a refurbished computer, leave a comment in the section, or leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll respond to you. But basically, this is really cool because they were basically like quad-core CPUs, but like one of the cores was faulty, so they would just like disable one of the cores, and boom, you have a tri-core. And it just has basic ATI and HD 4000 graphics, 4 gigs of RAM, 250 gig hard drive, and 320 watt power supply. It's made in 2012. It looks pretty cool actually on the front. It's like the also like BTX. Then over here we have an eMachines ET116107, another one that runs Vista, dual core CPU at 2.1 gigahertz, NVIDIA 6150 SE graphics, 1 gig of RAM. This had 3 gigs of RAM, but the second slot on the motherboard is bad, so I was only able to stick in 1 gig of RAM. 320 gig hard drive, and 300 watt power supply from Beztech. Yes, so this one also has a power supply from Beztech. No, wait, I think this one might be from Delta. Not exactly sure. But this is a single core at 1.8 gigahertz Sempron processor and an eMachines T3103 with S3 Unichrome graphics. 512 megs of RAM, 60 gig hard drive, 300 watt power supply, manufactured in 2004. And then over here we have an even older eMachines T1742 with an Intel Celeron single core at 1.7 gigahertz, Intel integrated graphics, 128 megabytes of DDR memory, 250 watt power supply from not BezTech. This is the computer that originally had the BezTech 25012E in there, but I swapped it out, I think, for one that is a halfway decent power supply that will not just blow up in this thing. And manufactured in 2002, same year I was born. So it's about 15, 16 years old. I'm 15, born in July. And then here's this really cool looking Sony Vaio. I mean, look at the thing. It looks just super cool. There's like a little gap like right there. I don't know why, but it's really cool. It looks super cool in the front too. Like a little chrome accent. And it has a Pentium, stop shaking hand. Focus. That's better. It has Pentium D820 dual core 2.8 gigahertz. Now, if you're somewhat knowledgeable with processors and older stuff, you would know that Pentium Ds run insanely hot. Sony has found a way to tame a Pentium D where under a stress FPU test, aka the hottest part of a CPU, to stay under 50 degrees Celsius in this thing. Which is pretty remarkable if you ask me. And once again, Sony with them really specific power supplies. 264.7 watt power supply. It manufactured in 2005, so it's pretty old. Then over here we had an older IBM ThinkCenter M508086WA6. Not very good condition at all, but hey, it's an old ThinkCenter with a Celeron D CPU in there. 1 gig of RAM. Open it up for you guys. That's what it looks like on the inside. It has a nice hyper power supply. You open it up, and solid copper heatsink and one little tiny fan to blow it over. One little tiny fan back here to exhaust the air. And 200 watt power supply. But these things are tough to close. You have to like get that ribbon cable in there, push this part in, so go down, make sure that's down, and then, oh, I didn't put it in all the way. Well, I'll fix that later. Never mind that. And then over here, here's my dad's old computer. Remember how I said he has a Dell Precision now? This is the one that he had before. Yes, I made a video on my channel of me making him that really cool computer, but he didn't like it because he said that it ran too hot and loud. So I sold it for quite a good chunk of cash, and like I said, he got the other Precision for free. He just had to put a Windows 10 key on 30 bucks from Kingwin. Thank you. But his old one was a very basic HP with Windows 8, AMD dual core at 1.4 gigahertz, AMD Radeon HD 7310 graphics, 4 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive, and a 90 watt external power supply. Yes, you heard me right. When I get this thing back here, you can see that literally there's no power supply or blank cutouts. It is literally just it's laptop grade parts inside a desktop. Why, HP? That's why I don't really like you. I mean, you're a good company now, but you shouldn't have started doing that like back in the day. No, I did not like that move that you guys started doing. You even like with that down right there. The power supply is only for 12 volts, and then all the others just like little cables run off of the motherboard. Then over here I have all my Dell computers, either staying in my closet because they're pretty much all the same, just really cool old Pentium 4 Dells. Except this one. This one has a Pentium D 945 dual core at 3.4 gigahertz. This one has a Pentium 4 lower thing. These slim ones, these run insanely hot. They run insanely hot. Very, very generous with the fan noise on here. And this one over here is a giant Dimension XPS gaming system. It has, I can't even see that up here. It has a Pentium 4 HT single core with hybrid threading at 3.2 gigahertz, ATI Radeon 9800 Pro graphics, 2 gigs of memory, 80 gig hard drive, and a 460 watt power supply. This thing's a beast. I found this at the scrapyard, ready to go get torn down. It was already like shrink wrapped. They said that I could pick through it, and they just basically just like get their money back. Like I think said that they charge like $40 a pound, or 40 cents a pound to like get him in, so he just charged me 40 cents a pound to like get it back out, which is really nice of the guy. And over here I have my older BTX style one. This one has a Pentium 4, that's why I kept this one. It's in really good condition too. It's only missing like the one is XP sticker. This one's really cool, once again, but this one has a Pentium D 945 again in it, like this one over here. And this little one over here has a Core 2 Quad Q6600 in here, which is really cool. I like it a lot. And it runs Windows 7 actually, activated Windows 7, which is really cool. I like it, like I said, a lot. And then I have one desktop just like right down in the corner over there that I'm not gonna dig out because that's where all my laptops stay. And if I were to move it, my laptops would all fall, and I already put them back from part 2. So I'm not getting that out again, no way. But it's basically just like a basic single core e-machine from back in the day. And here's like a little TV to hook up like my Commodore 2 and stuff like that. And then if I were to cross over this mountain of computers, okay, there's halfway, oof, rest of the way, and I did it. Yeah, this one, it's broken. And then, well, I'm back. My friend called me right in the middle of a sentence too. So as I was trying to say, that is broken. That is where all my Macs live. That's where my Quadra lives. And then up here I have a few more computers to show you guys, and this video will be over. And I hope you enjoyed. Back here, not really the best lighting, but it's a Presario 4505 Windows 95 computer with a Pentium with MMX technology, 166 megahertz, 16 megs of RAM, and a 2.1 3600 RPM Quantum Bigfoot hard drive. There's a I think they're 5.25 inch hard drives. They're insanely big, and it only has a 75 watt power supply. Yeah, 75 watts. You read that right. Yeah, it runs the computer just fine. And then next, and it looks pretty cool actually from 1995. And then this one still has like almost all of its like bloatware stickers, like saying commanding power, tomorrow's technology, and incredible internet, and super disk 120 megabyte probably super disk drive. That's all it says. That's all it says. And then we have Windows 98 Home Edition on here with AMD K6-2 processor, 400 megahertz. We really stepped up in this one. It's only 2 years later too. This has a normal 8 gigabyte Western Digital hard drive, 64 megs of RAM, and 2x AGP graphics, and 110 watt power supply. And then I have a pretty cool looking gateway from 1998 that runs Windows 98, obviously from back in the day. Pentium 2 slot processor at 350 megahertz, Intel graphics, 64 megs of RAM, 10.1 gigabyte IBM hard drive, and another 90 watt power supply. And then my closet needs to, oh, darn it, Sony. There we go. Now I should be able to scooch you over. Yay. And now over here we have a compact Evo W4000 Pentium 4 at 2 gigahertz, 512 megs of RAM, 40 gig hard drive, and 250 watt power supply. Looks, I don't know why I say that these all look cool. They do to me. They all have like something interesting. Like every computer manufacturer out there had to overcome some kind of limitation with what they had to work with, and they always had to figure it out. That's pretty cool to me. And then over here we have an HP Pavilion A1312N Pentium 4 HT at 3.06 gigahertz, ATI Radeon Express 200, 250 gig hard drive, 512 megs of RAM. This is, I like this style. The style of HP is really cool looking. I don't know what it is about these kind of computers, but I like them. And here's the Gateway E2100. Old single blower fan to exhaust all my hot air. Runs Windows XP. Home Professional. Celeron single core, 2.6 gigahertz, 1 gig of RAM, 82.3 gigabyte Hitachi drive, and 180 watt power supply. And then last but not least is the horribly designed HP Slimline S3100. Runs Windows Vista, AMD Athlon X2 64 X2 4000 Plus, dual core at 2.1 gigahertz, GeForce 6150 LE graphics, 1 gig of RAM, that's factory, yes, and it comes with all that notorious HP bloatware that uses up 80% of it idling on the desktop after you fell. After a system restore through HP system restore thingy. 250 gig hard drive, 160 watt power supply. Yes, 160 watt power supply to run this whole computer. And if I can get this turned around properly with one hand, not recommend, do not try this at home. Oof. You can see on the back, you have a little tiny vent for your power supply. Then you have a little Wi-Fi, that's actually pretty cool back in the day. And you have, that's all the vent you have. And you can see right in there, that is your heatsink. That right there is your heatsink. Fan blows this way through it, right out those vents. It's insanely hot after 5 minutes of idling on the desktop, and up here, the power supply fan cannot physically move enough air to cool this thing properly, as it is almost always running at its maximum rated 160 watts when even idling. Sorry, I just need to get that off my chest. I don't really like these old style HP Pavilion Slimlines, but they're pretty cool, you have to admit. They're pretty cool for back in the day, but I have actually seen people mod these, and they somehow got like another fan blowing air into the chassis, even though there's not like another fan to blow air into. And this one actually has a modem still in there, and it actually has a, if I can get it in there, you can see it has a PCIe slot for a graphic card, but this cannot physically handle any kind of graphics card without making the power supply blow up in your face. So once I get over my mountain of computers again, I'll say something. One more! HP or Dell Dimension E520 runs Windows 7 Professional Service Pack 1, Pentium D 820 dual core 2.8 GHz, NVIDIA 9500 GT from MSI, 4 gigs of RAM, 320 gig hard drive, 305 watt power supply. I forgot to put the 5 there, and manufactured in 2007. Now that I almost forgot to do my main desktop, now is the outro. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video. Hope you guys stayed all the way through. And just like, subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye.